everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Melody, the author of One Big Mess, which comes out June 13th, 2021, and you can pre-order it now. I will put the link down below in the comments, so you can totally pre-order it, or you can wait till June 13th. It is a story about a teenage girl who has a mother who is a compulsive hoarder, and she tries to help her mother. So I'm really excited about this book. It's a young adult book, and I hope you will enjoy it if you like that kind of stuff. So anyway, I decided today I wanted to do a video about Twitter because recently I just had my 2-year anniversary on Twitter, and I can't believe I've been on Twitter for 2 years. And what's really funny is that I didn't really think I would like Twitter as much as I do, because I'm actually really a private person, very introverted, and I don't really like, the idea of just, putting my business out there, on social media for everyone else to see. But what I've really discovered about Twitter is that it's just a really great place to meet other people who like some of the same things that you like. And of course, I really enjoy writing, so I've used it to connect with other writers. And it's been so much fun. I've met some great friends on Twitter, and it's just nice to talk to other people like who get writing as much as I do. And that's not to say that my friends and family, don't like support me or anything. They do. But it's fun when you get to talk to someone who, who understands, like they get it. Like they understand, like you have like all these characters that are talking in your head, and how you get like these crazy ideas, in the middle of the night, and then, how frustrating it is when you wake up in the morning and you don't remember that book idea, like they get stuff like that. So Twitter is a really great place if you are a writer. It's a great place to connect with other writers. So I thought I would talk a little bit about it. Now, full disclaimer, I just want to say, first of all, I am not super popular on Twitter. I'm just not. I have like over 1,000 followers, which is really good, but like I'm not one of those people who has like thousands and thousands of followers. I'm not like some big influencer on Twitter or anything like that. So if you're trying to figure out how to make your Twitter like grow really, really big, this is not the video for you. But if you are a writer and you want to figure out how to use Twitter to connect with other writers, this is the video for you. So I first joined Twitter back in 2019, and I joined it because I was querying my novel 6th Grade Changes. And I was under the impression that, if I wanted to get a literary agent, I had to have a Twitter account, because a lot of literary agents are on Twitter, and I'm like, okay, they're on Twitter, they like Twitter, they want to see me have a social media presence. Okay, I will join Twitter. So that's really the only reason I set up a Twitter, because I needed to, set up my author platform, But what I discovered is that Twitter is actually a lot of fun. So we'll get to that in a minute. Now, I do think if you are a writer, I do think it's actually a really good idea to be on Twitter, or if you don't like Twitter, get on some other kind of social media. I think really the most important thing is that if you're going to be an author and you have a social media presence, like you're trying to set up your author platform, get on a social media that you enjoy. If you don't enjoy Twitter, then don't get on Twitter. I'm kind of like, I feel a little bit that way, just a tiny bit about Instagram. I know everyone loves Instagram, and I have an Instagram, but I'm going to be honest, I'm not often on Instagram because, I don't know, I guess I'm all about the words, and I'm not so much about the pictures, but not to say I don't like Instagram, but I just love Twitter so much more. So I'm so much more active on Twitter. So maybe I'll warm up a little bit more to Instagram later. But for now, I've discovered Twitter, and I just love it so much. Okay, so if you are querying, I do recommend you at least check out Twitter. If you don't have, even if you don't have an account there, just at least check it out, because what you'll want to do is you'll want to scope out these literary agents. You'll want to research them a little bit, and it's a really good idea to see what kinds of things they're talking about, and you could decide if you want to query that agent. So that's a really good reason to be on Twitter. Now, if you want to get a lot of followers on Twitter, I see what a lot of people do is they do these things called writers lifts, so like hashtag writers lift, and that does get you a lot of followers. And I've only participated in that a few times, but I'm gonna say that that's actually one of the things that is kind of a pet peeve for some people. Some people just really do not like to see the writers lift like clogging up their feed all the time. So it's not always a great idea to do that. So when I first joined Twitter, I didn't really know anything about Twitter. I didn't really know how it worked. I knew of it, but I'd never been on the platform before. So it kind of took me a while to figure out, what was all going on. Like when I made my first tweet, like I didn't even like put a hashtag in it, which I totally should have put a hashtag in it, because if I had put a hashtag in it, I might have had that tweet get noticed, but no one noticed me, and it just took me a really long time to get a following. But then one day I finally had like this random girl like follow me, and I checked out her profile, and I'm like, oh, she's another writer just like me, and so I started following like anybody who followed me. I would follow them back, as long as there was like nothing creepy about their profile, or nothing offensive, or just if they had anything about being a writer in their profile, I would follow them. And so you can do that. You can do the follow for follow, but I will caution you that you can they can kind of backfire a little bit on you, because what happened to me is that I followed so many people back. Nothing wrong, with them. But what would happen was that when I would go on Twitter and I would scroll like looking for tweets about writing, because that was my main thing. I wanted to go to Twitter to read about writing, and to a lesser extent cats and soap operas, because those are my two other things. But I really just wanted to talk about writing on Twitter, and I was seeing like all of these random tweets in my feed, and I couldn't find the tweets that I wanted to read. And like I said, there was nothing wrong about the tweets. I just couldn't find the ones I was looking for. And so what I kind of discovered is that I followed a lot of people who really weren't tweeting about writing as much as I was. And that's not to say that they can't be on Twitter talking about other things. I get on Twitter sometimes and I talk about other things as well. You can have other interests. That's totally fine. But there would be like some people that like would never talk about writing at all. It got to be like so many people that I was reading so many tweets from people that I just wasn't interested in seeing their tweets. So I did unfollow some people, and I'm sorry if I unfollowed you. It's nothing personal. It's just I wanted to talk about writing, and I wasn't seeing a bunch of tweets about writing. Instead, it's like I'm seeing tweets like, what's your favorite cookie? And tweets like, do you like peanut butter? Or like what kind of peanut butter do you like? Crunchy or smooth? And like I was tired of that. Like, I'm tired of like all these random questions. Like, I want to talk about writing. And so I did discover the writing community. So if you go on Twitter and you type in hashtag writing community, and there's a few more little hashtags that are similar to that, you will find a bunch of people that are just talking about writing, and well, sometimes, mostly. And that's been really, really fun just to be able to connect with other writers. Now, I will say this about the writing community on Twitter. It is huge. There's so many writers on Twitter. And the problem is that when you have so many people on this platform, it can be a little hard to get noticed. And this still happens to me. Like sometimes I will tweet something and it's like a swing and a miss, you know, like I just like don't get any attention on my tweet whatsoever. No one notices it. Maybe I get like 2 likes or 3 or 4, you know. While some days I would get like 20 likes or 30 likes, you know. Just some days are like that, but it can be hard to get noticed in that writing community. And I was feeling a little bit discouraged because I would go there and I would ask a question about writing or pose a topic about or tweet about a topic related to writing, and I would get crickets. I would get like absolutely no response on my tweet. And then you would have like somebody make a tweet like, you know, posting a random question. Do you think men and women can be just friends? You know, just random questions like that. And then like they would get like 100 responses. And I'm like, oh, it just made me like so mad. Like I just couldn't understand like why my tweets weren't getting noticed. And I really just think it's just sometimes, you know, and maybe it's just the timing of day that you tweet, or, you know, tweets are just so, they're just fleeting, you know, they're here and then they're gone. And so sometimes your tweet can take off and sometimes it doesn't. But I'll say what I noticed is that I actually found a really special group of writers on Twitter. And when I found them, I was so happy. I felt like I found my tribe. I'm talking about the 5 a.m. Writers Club. So if you go to Twitter and you type in hashtag 5, the number 5 a.m. Writers Club, you will find us on Twitter. Because I am a morning writer and I wasn't getting any interaction at all. Anytime I tweeted, like I'd be on Twitter in the morning as well, and I would tweet in the morning and I would use the hashtag writing community, and like nobody would respond. And I was just getting so frustrated. But then I discovered these 5 a.m. writers and I was so happy because like I actually finally started to get some interaction on Twitter. And it was so great. It was so wonderful. Like finally I was like, you know, my tweets were actually getting noticed and getting like more than 4 likes, you know. So I really think if you want to talk to other writers on Twitter, yes, you can use the writing community hashtag, but try to find your specific group of writers. Like I just had more luck getting interaction with like the subgroups of the writing community. I know there was a hashtag, I think it's mom writers club or something. I'm not in that one, I don't know, but something like that. I'm sure you could find it. And I'm sure there must be like another one for like night owls or something. There's got to be, right? But just go on Twitter and just find your group of writers. Like we're here, you know, they're out there. And I really also just think the best way to get interaction on Twitter is to interact with people, you know, like if you just constantly participate in writers lists, you're going to get a bunch of followers, but are you really going to get any interaction? You know, if you want to actually chat with other writers, then, you know, reply to some comments, you know, like their tweets, you know, engage with them, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I think that's really the best way you can get noticed on Twitter because the interactions are more meaningful. And so I really think that's the best way to do it. So I do recommend Twitter if you love to write and if you want to meet a great group of writers. And if you do want to join the 5 a.m. Writers Club, it's so easy to join. Well, I say it's easy to join. Maybe it's easy for me. Maybe it's not so easy for you because you do have to get up really early. Just a little secret, coffee helps. But if you want to join us, just get up early. and get on Twitter and use the hashtag 5 a.m. Writers Club. We're here every morning, maybe a little bit later on the weekends sometimes, but we're there. And I've just had so much fun these past 2 years on Twitter. And I'm really glad that I found it and that I have a place where I can chat with other writers. It's more fun than any message board or anything like that. So yeah, check it out. And let's see if there's anything else. I think that's it. Anyway, you guys, thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give me a like because it'll help my channel. And if you haven't subscribed, please do because that will make me so happy. And you can find me on Twitter. I will put my Twitter handle in the comments so you can find me on Twitter and we can talk about writing. See y'all later. Bye.